Good day, and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Stage 3 of the Epic Collection of Battles, and we're going to see, obviously, how we can complete the Androids mission. So again, kind of wanted to just do different builds for each mission, because I think it's fun. I think this is actually a pretty fun event, but also I think overall gives people better ideas on who, what, and what kind of units can clear these kind of events. So we have, in terms of this stage, this is the third stage, Battle to Change the Future. So just to quickly recap all of the bosses, you'll face Trunks, who's immune to Sealing and Stunning. You can then choose to face Tien and Piccolo, or you can choose to face Vegeta and Trunks. Vegeta and Trunks, Vegeta is immune to Sealing and he's immune to attack lowering, defense lowering, and Trunks, he's immune to stunning. Then you have Piccolo, Piccolo is immune to stunning and heals, and you have Tien, who's immune to Sealing and can stun you with his super. You then face Hercule and Goku. Hercule can evade you, he's very evasive, he also can seal you for 3 turns, and then you face Goku, who is immune to stunning, and also immune to super attack sealing, and then is immune to attack lowering. And then finally, for the final section, you face 4 different variants of Gohan. The first phase is against Strength Gohan, who's immune to stunning and sealing and attack lowering. Then you face a physical version of LR Gohan, who's immune to stunning, immune to sealing, attack lowering, and defense lowering. You then face AGL Gohan, who's immune to stunning, sealing, attack, defense lowering, and will lower your defense greatly on his super. And then you face a Int Super Saiyan 2 final father-son Kamehameha Gohan, who's immune to stunning, sealing, attack lowering, defense lowering, and he can stun you for the rest of battle, very much like Int Cell. Now personally speaking, Gohan and some of the guys here in stage 3 do hit a little bit harder than Cell and the boys in the other one, but I actually don't find Gohan nearly as hard as Cell. In 2 phases of Cell, Cell will lock units in place potentially, which makes things very difficult because, as you guys know, a lot of units, especially nowadays, gain a large amount of their defense on super, so having them get locked in place is really quite annoying. In terms of the team build, we are trying to complete the Androids mission, which requires you to have 6 Androids category units on your team. So obviously 6 Androids category units is, I don't want to say too difficult. The Androids category has some pretty good buff units, but we are missing some, or I'm missing some of the really good ones. I don't have Int Android 19 and 20, I don't have Physical Android 16 and 18, I don't have Gamma 1, I do not have Gamma 2, and I do not have pretty much all of those top tier options. On Global, we also don't have access to the Super 17s, so it's a pretty interesting kind of team. I also don't have the AGL first form Cell, so I'm really not up to speed with my Androids units, but that's okay. We are running a team under Android 13. He's gonna float, he's really not gonna sit on rotation. I have 2 dupes in him, he leads Androids and target Goku. It leaves us with a little bit of low HP because he's 130% lead, but generally he's fine. He does okay defensively, very decent defense stat. He won't be on rotation for long, so him taking damage isn't that impactful. And he also obviously has the ability, at least in his base form, to support the other units, which is really solid. Then, of course, as the friend lead, we took the AGL Gamma 1. Now, Gamma 2, sorry. The big reason is he leads Androids, which is great. He also covers Accelerated Battle, which includes some of our units. But he is just very strong with his ability to raise his attack and defense for 1 turn, his build-up of his attack and defense, and chance of performing a crit with each attack. He's going to be by far and away our best offensive and probably defensive unit overall. So he's going to carry the workload a lot. He also gives all allies key +2 and attack of 30%, and he also gives or has a high chance of nullifying key blast supers. So he's really solid. Just like his brother Gamma 1, who I wish we had, he can really hard carry this run quite well, which I think in general is still pretty good. And yeah, he does all of our, well, not all, but he does a very large amount of our offensive workload. Next is a unit that stands the test of time, Android Super 17 AGL. Now, Android Super 17 AGL is one of those units that was really good with his ZZA and just remains really good. He has damage reduction of 40%. He gains an additional 30% damage reduction with each attack, well, with 5 attacks received. And he also gives target Goku category allies 17% crit chance, which is pretty good. Offensively, he's okay. I only have him with 55%, so nothing too wild. And in general, he does a good job. I think he looks impressive. He can take damage in the beginning when he's building up his damage reduction, but generally speaking, the typings are quite favorable to him. We don't face a tech unit from Vegeta onwards, and we face a lot of strength phases, and once he's fully built up, he's fine. Not to mention, damage reduction works additive with items like Icarus, so he's pretty good, especially for the final phase. He can build up his damage reduction pretty well against Strength Gohan. Alongside him, we have the Easy 8 variant of Hellforged Warrior, Hellfighter 17. This unit, really solid, attack and defense of 120%. He also gains another attack and defense of 120% when performing a super attack, gives all allies key +2 and attack and defense of 25%, and he has an additional attack of 170% when there is another ally whose name includes Android 17. Defensively, he's pretty solid. You're going to see him here. Honestly, tank not too bad at all. 200k, it's not so bad. Honestly, considering Gohan hits pretty decently hard. And yeah, in general, he looks really solid. I think he does a really great job. He pairs up well with this Android 17. They share a lot of great links together. And yeah, in general, he just does very well. One of our shining stars and our rotation units are both Android 17 and 18 cards, one being the free-to-play LR and one being the tech unit. Now, the tech unit's great. There is some logic behind placing them instead of Android 16. I just wanted to really try to use Android 16 as just a very good option. Yeah, Android 17 and 18 are very good. They bring a lot to the table. But it was just an attempt to try and see how Android 16 does, and he does okay. But the tech version of Android 17 and 18, fantastic. Attack and defense of 117 and 80% respectively. Orb changer, they gain attack and defense of 35% per key type orb, half of that per normal key sphere. They will also gain additional attack of 70% with 7 or more orbs obtained, 80% defense with 8 or more orbs obtained, an additional key +1 per key sphere obtained, and they launch an additional super attack if your health is below 35%, and they nullify key blast based supers directed at you if your health is 35% or more. That will come in handy, you're going to see that. Not only that, but they can also activate when facing only one enemy, an active skill which you're going to see used now, which will delay their attacks by 1 turn, and this is helpful because we have an AGL unit on the rotation, an int unit on the rotation, and this is going to enable us to just hold off on using an item, get some damage in, and get ourselves onto a stronger rotation where we also don't have to use an item, and things are better. So we skipped a little bit ahead to get to the int Gohan, where this is not a huge train smash. The final unit we need to kind of cover is the AGL LR free-to-play, Android 17 and 18. They're just very solid. Attack and defense raised on both the 18 and 12 key. Attack and defense when performing a super attack. They give 50% defense to all of our extreme allies, which is our whole team. And they have an additional key +3, attack of 78%, and launch an additional attack when facing superclass enemies. So overall, they just look very good. There you can see the nullification from Android 17 and 18 coming in pretty clutch. This was probably the most tense 2 turns of the run. Our items had run out, and at this point we're relying quite heavily on the Gamma 1 unit to crit, firstly, as he's our main source of damage. We're also relying on the guard from Android 16 to activate. Android 16, for those who don't know, has a 50% guard chance, and he can also greatly raise his defense on his super. He also has attack and defense per Android's category unit on the team. So he looks good. His problem is, like any unit that has a chance to guard, when his guard activates, he's fantastic. When it doesn't, he can look very mediocre. But in general, he looks really solid. I think he looks decent, and I think overall things tend to go relatively quite well. Android 13 took a lot of damage here. This is okay. Wasn't too big an issue. And obviously Android 16, of course, did not get his guard to activate either. But his raw defense after super is okay enough that he took only 40k. And you'll say, oh, only 40k, but Int Gohan hits pretty hard, so that's not too bad. We were kind of okay at this point. The big risk is obviously the Int Hellfighter 17 being supered. If that did occur, we would indeed have lost. In fact, if we got supered on any unit but Super 17, we would have lost, but we didn't get supered. So all in all, a pretty strong run. Fairly consistent, very good, really well done, and in general didn't really have too many huge issues. A little bit tight at the end, but Gamma 1 wasn't really critting that much in my favor. To be honest with you, I think I went through 2 turns where he just didn't crit at all. So yeah, in general, I think the run was okay, and I think the team does pretty well. There's lots of options on the Android side. You would have heard me mention in the beginning that I'm missing like half of the good Android's options. So really, you should be fine for this. You should even be able to do the Android Cell Saga 1 at the same time. I'm just breaking them up because trying to show off units that aren't just int LR perfect cell. But yeah, that's going to be it from me. That's another mission down, and it's only the Android Cell Saga 1 left, which will be interesting to say the least. But that's going to be it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, stay safe, and bye.